the sutra. The dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Wow, it is quite something to be looking out at all of you. It's been, it's incredible to be in person, given a couple of talks online, but to be here with all of you is just, and I can't really see the online people, but I know you're there. And so it's great to be here with everyone. Friends, old friends, and also so many new online friends. So my name is JiSei, and I'm a senior student at the Village Zendo. And all I can say really to begin with is what a beautiful gathering we are. And I think in that, we have to look at the ground. We have to look all around. We have to look at the sky. You know, so many of us. And I certainly, in thinking about that, thought about so many dear, dear people that are here and that I miss, like Kaku and Yuka and Peggy, and but they're here with us too, and certainly I feel just supported by everyone, and I'm so appreciative of that. So it's wonderful to be here for Sesshin and have this opportunity, extended sitting, led by our quite amazing Shuso Siryu, leading up to Shuso Hosen this week. So in his talk on the first day, our new abbot, Roshi Shinryu, gave us an historical context for our study text, which I certainly needed. And he encouraged us to practice wholeheartedly. On the second day, Miyoko Roshi encouraged us to step into the big room. Vimalakirti's sick room with everyone in it. She encouraged us to investigate our minds, work within, and transform ourselves as we engage in the Sangha. On the third day, senior student Gesho gave us an overview of our study text, and she explored wonder in the sutra in an awe-inspiring and wondrous way, and encouraged us to appreciate our lives and existence right here. So I'm going to start with the following passage from our study text and see where it takes us. So many roads to go, a bit of a boondoggle. Vimalakirti asks Manjushri, what is the family of Tathagatas? Manjushri explains that it consists of all basic egoism, ignorance, thirst for existence, false paths, irritation, paths of sins, etc., etc., etc. Or, as our Shuso put it the other morning, hell is other people. Manjushri then addresses Vimalakirti, and I've abbreviated the following passage. Noble sir, flowers like the blue lotus, the red lotus, the white lotus, the water lily, the moon lily, do not grow on the dry ground in the wilderness, but do grow in the swamps and mud banks, do grow in those living beings who are like swamps and mud banks of passion, like all of us. Likewise, as seeds do not grow in the sky, but do grow in the earth, so the Buddha qualities do not grow in those determined for the absolute, but do grow in those who conceive the spirit of enlightenment. After having produced a Sumeru-like mountain of egotistic views, anybody here? Egotistic views this week. Lotus in the mud, all of us, living in this world with the desire to wake up is a good desire. To be Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, do good, to be of benefit is this aspiration that Vimalakirti is talking about. So the fertile soil for waking up is the mud. We get grumpy, angry, annoyed when things aren't the way we want them. Perhaps we're irritated in the zendo when a sangha mate does not communicate in a way that is clear to us, or maybe does not remember the instructions that we've explained so many times. At times we might feel disdain for others, superior, or insecure and grossly inadequate. I know that certainly speaks to me at some moments. Our suffering shows up in endless ways. Manjushri continues, without going out into the great ocean, it is impossible to find priceless pearls. Likewise, without going into the ocean of passions, it is impossible to obtain the mind of omniscience. Where is this great ocean? The great ocean is wherever we are, present, aware, bringing our attention to each moment, sitting, walking, lying down. The journey we are always on to realize the self. Nothing fancy. Practice is enlightenment. In our ordinary, everyday lives. We sit silently on our cushions and pay attention. At times we feel at ease and comfortable. At times our discomfort can feel intolerable. Intolerable! When something in us gets triggered, threatened, anxious, fearful. We sit with what comes up and examine. Sometimes we have an insight. Find a precious pearl. Our insights have the potential to transform us, our relationships, our lives. And isn't that why we're here? To grow and to learn, to mature, to become more authentic and do good things in the world. So John Wellwood wrote an excellent essay called Spiritual Bypassing that Roshi Enkyo brought to our attention in my early days at the Zendo. Wellwood makes the point that when we run away from unpleasant emotions, when we're resistant and avoid the direct experience of what is coming up that's hard to look at, we stay stuck. Nothing is resolved. And that thing will probably plague us again and again and again. When we hold ourselves with gentle care and experience what we're experiencing, that is going through. That's the key word, through. We mature spiritually. We develop strength in our staying and holding ourselves. And that develops our capacity to hold and care for ourselves as well as others. It helps us to be a friend. We develop a stronger spine to hold what comes up, to develop more ease and peace within ourselves. I think that really one of the most important things for me, over the years that I've really been helped with, is to feel that I've become more fully human. And what I mean by that is realizing in myself, in all of ourselves really, that we're all broken and flawed. And for me, that is liberating and beautiful. If a drive for perfection motivates us, as it did for me for so many years, our experience is harsh and judging towards ourselves and others. Being human and vulnerable, we recognize ourselves in others. So the sutra begins. Vimalakirti is sick. Sickness refers to all that we suffer from. The whole catastrophe of being human in a human body. Old age, sickness, and death. But Vimalakirti is a shape-shifter who adapts to each person that he meets to relate to them, speak their language, join them where they are, and use skillful means to help them heal. suffering is sickness. We learn in the sutra that he is espousing the Mahayana vow to be a bodhisattva, a person who is able to reach nirvana, but delays doing so out of compassion in order to stay and save suffering beings. So in 2007, I started to visit sick patients as a chaplain intern on the oncology floor at Beth Israel Hospital in New York City. This was a major, major pivot in my life, engaging what was the first year and what I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was the first Buddhist chaplaincy training program in the US, which took place at the Village Zendo at 588 Broadway. That year, Nyagetsu, Mukei, and Echo and I were in the training together. A few years later, Jifu, Jakuin, Rakishin, and Jikyo engaged in the training. The training weekends took place once a month for 9 months, and Roshi Enkyo gave a Dharma talk every month. I found my teacher and my Sangha. It was an exciting time for me at the Zendo and at Beth Israel. On my assigned floor, oncology, Donna Karan had funded integrated medicine specialists to provide all sorts of support for patients. And if I'm not mistaken, Rakishin might have been one of the yoga therapists there, might have been. My memory isn't always so good. But massage, music therapy, yoga, and support from all of us Buddhist chaplains. We all work together to give patients the very best care. But let me mention how extremely anxious I was to visit patients those first months. Totally new experience for me. I remember how uncomfortable I felt introducing myself to patients. Hi, I'm Chaplain Anne. Would you like a visit? I hoped that somebody would say, yes, please come into my room so I just wouldn't have to wander around for hours. And they did. I commuted into the city from Harrison, New York to Grand Central, then took the subway to 14th Street and walked to the hospital. A whole new world, a whole new journey. But with my anxiety high, I started to meditate while in bed in Harrison, New York, all the way to Beth Israel. My go-to walking route to BI was on a street with a Catholic church that had a mosaic that covered one whole wall of a building. It was of Mother Mary. Her robed arms were spread out wide, embracing a host of saints, angels, women, men, and children, perhaps a Christian version of the multitude of visitors in Vimalakirti's sick room. I felt so comforted by her image and just went right into her arms. And then when I reached the oncology floor and walked the hallways and knocked on doors to visit patients, I imagined myself with a whole retinue that walked with me, as I had experienced with Thich Nhat Hanh on a retreat once. So Thich Nhat Hanh, Jesus, the Buddha, hosts of saints and angels, and faith leaders from all traditions flanked me and helped me to stay open, focus, and probably not faint. So to serve in whatever way was needed. So why do I bring this up? All of these groups that are there together. I think because it's so important for us to remember that we are not alone, that we can ask for help. We can help ourselves with our concentration and breath, focusing and gently holding ourselves. The world is so much more than we can comprehend, and we are so much more than the limited selves we imagine. Buddhist chaplaincy training is non-denominational, and it's about meeting the patient where they are. Every visit is going out into the great ocean with 360-degree awareness, listening with the whole body, engaging all of the sense organs. What is needed? You smell something. Get the nurse for a diaper change. Patient is telling a story. What question needs to be asked? Oh, there's a jumble of clothes chaotically piled up in a corner of room and spilling out from slightly opened drawer. What is that about? What is the patient's posture, body communicating? The patient smiling, waving me into the room, or the patient taut with hands clasped tightly, or shoulders slightly slumped over, head bowed, eyes not making contact? What role does the patient need me to take on? Minister, friend, jokester. I said flirt, but some people actually want you to be their lover. They really do. It gets kind of funny. So be that for them. Be together in the mud. Namu Kie, at oneness. The training involved a great deal of looking within to understand proper boundaries, needs, how to care for oneself as one cared for others. You see how the time is? I have no idea. Oh my gosh, we're really there. So I think we will skip case 21 in the Book of Serenity for another day. Okay. So I'll just end with saying that I'm so grateful and feel so fortunate to be here with everyone, and all of you online people too, doing what we're doing together. So let's give ourselves fully to the next few days. Don't let up.
Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Desires are inexhaustible. I sentient